CAIR's definition is the Council on American Islamic Relations, the Massachusetts chapter. We're our own independent nonprofit, zakat-eligible 501c3. In its most basic form, I tell people we protect the civil rights of Muslims here in Massachusetts.
I know about CAIR since September 11, basically. So I was involved myself back then. I decided to involve Mariam, my daughter, in order for her to learn more about CAIR, learn more about what CAIR does and how does it involve advocating more for understanding Islam better for themselves first, and to be able to relay the same message to everybody around, whether Muslims or non-Muslims.
My name is CAIR-MA. This is my first year doing MYLP. This event is where you have a lot of Muslim leaders. They go and they teach young kids like me and other students like me that want to learn how to lead and not just sit back and watch. Instead of wishing I could do something and wishing I could change something, I can actually put it into action.
So it's a very crucial time here in Massachusetts where we see a rise of Islamic phobia. And a lot of our young people in school, on college campuses, and even in their workplace are being discriminated against. And that's why it's important, to have an organization like CAIR to be able to come in to be able to advocate, for these youth. But today we want to be able to give them the tools and the resources where they're able to advocate for themselves, that they know their rights, as citizens, of America, that they're protected. So that's really one of the most important things that we want them to get out of this particular program, is to, to have the knowledge, as well as the skills to be able to advocate for themselves and know their rights.
Muslims make like a significant amount of the population, and we just aren't represented as much as we could be. And I think that definitely could be improved on, not just as part of our legislative process and in the House and in the Senate, but also in the community, in people's opinions of what Muslims are and how people view us. And I think in that sense we might be a little underrepresented.
Well, all of us have a lot of rights that we are not aware of. And if you're not aware of those rights, you are probably not going to exercise them, or if those rights are violated, you may not do anything about it. So part of what we do is to do a lot of know your rights materials and trainings for the community, so people know what they can and cannot do. And then they will come to us if they have questions about how those rights apply to their own particular situation. And in some cases, we can take legal action on their behalf.
CAIR Massachusetts is the largest Muslim civil rights organization, and I see my role within that work, specifically looking at how Islamophobia affects young Muslims, and particularly how do we empower young Muslims to be able to advocate for themselves when incidences of Islamophobia is happening. But I think to also learn language around their experiences and connecting it to other young people that might be experiencing similar things. The Massachusetts Muslim community is pretty diverse, but also is geographically dispersed around. In incidences where you might be the only young Muslim in your public school or in your town, that experience can be really isolating. So I see my role as bringing young people together from across the state to find each other, to build community, to build skills, so kind of always figuring out what do we need to do as a community, what resources and skills do we need to offer, and then thinking through how we make that happen.
In any moment in our country's history, when you look back, you'll see that the most influential demographic are students. They are high school students and they are college students, and that exists today. And why is that the most influential demographic? It's because they're the least fearful. They're largely the more supported. So their parents are telling them, you can do whatever you want, you can be whatever you want. And they go out into the world and they take risk and they take space and they lead. And we see this in every movement. So that is no different. Here at the Muslim Youth Leadership Program that CAIR hosts, I call it our signature program, we teach students how to live as Muslims, advocating for justice and using their rights as American citizens to do so. It is the perfect intersection of identities.
At first, as a teen, I didn't really care about advocating myself. I thought adults could do all that, but honestly, as a Muslim community, we are not active enough in government, and we need to work on that. And in order to work on that, we are the new people of the generation, and these people will start to rely on us later on. And it is our job to become like very active in community services, especially like implementing laws that will benefit Muslims or people overall.
I want to be a bigger member of my community. I want to learn how to help kids, especially Muslim kids and kids that are targeted by other people, to learn how to defend themselves and how to talk against it.
I advocate all Muslims should feel comfortable in America. You can be unapologetically yourself. You don't need to apologize for who you are. You don't say, oh, I'm sorry I have to pray, or I'm sorry I can't shake your hand. No, Islam is your faith. You take pride in it, and I want everyone to know that you don't have to be scared about your religion, and I want my friends to also feel that even though they face those pressures living in America.
I'm thankful for CAIR because this is just the beginning of Muslims taking part in government and standing up for each other as an ummah. I am thankful because I just found out about this organization a few months ago, and I realized like I just can't imagine how many Muslims they have helped and how many Muslims must be thanking them right now. As CAIR is expanding right now, I am very excited to see this grow, and I'm very proud to witness this just in the beginning stages.